Welcome into the House of Orange. Post-game instant reaction here. Lady Vols fall tonight to South Carolina, 70-63. We'll discuss the game, kind of break down some things I saw along the way. It was they fought back. South Carolina was in control. After they got down by 9 in the first quarter, South Carolina really took control, and I thought their second unit, and I'll talk more about that as we get along. Make sure you hit that like, that share. If you have not already liked the content, hit that subscribe button already. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys checking out the content along the way. Lots of views this weekend. Auburn fans come in and bet on the hashtags to come in and talk. Had some South Carolina fans come in on the preview. Appreciate you guys coming in. South Carolina fans come in. We're real good on that. But, watching the game tonight, of course, the Lady Vols got that 9-point lead in the first quarter. And if any South Carolina fans get this and comment on it, let me know on this, because it looks to me like, and I say this on all of my sports I watch, other than I watch a lot of college baseball. As far as basketball, I don't watch anything besides Tennessee. I don't have a lot of interest in basketball outside of Tennessee anymore. I will more come tournament time, but I just don't watch a lot of that anymore. But any of you watching on that, you can leave me a comment and let me know if you're getting this. Seems to me like South Carolina's second unit was better than their first. I know you had Edwards coming off of the bench. For sure, I can't remember the rest who come in off of the bench, but just seems like when they went to their second unit, they really took control of that game tonight. And for Lady Vols, it's the same thing. Normally it's one of the second or third quarter. Tonight it was both of them. Into the first quarter, when South Carolina went on that run, Lady Vols were on that drought for a while. I mean, you look at the second and third quarter, the big difference here is South Carolina outscored the Lady Vols. Let's see what I have, 44-25 in the second and third quarters. That's a pretty drastic difference. I mean, fourth quarter was great, 24-13. Lady Vols outscored South Carolina, but that deficit that got created in that second and third quarter, it was just too much to overcome. And you definitely can't do it against a team like South Carolina. And honestly, if I look at the stats here, there's going to be one that, we've talked about this one a lot, the three-pointers, 3 out of 26 tonight, 12%. And that's, I don't know, I get it to an extent because they were really having trouble getting good shots off inside against South Carolina's front court. But, just a few things that, like in the first quarter, I felt they missed, what I count, 4 or 5 shots close to the basket that did not go, that were missed. And there were more along the way. And don't get me wrong, South Carolina missed some as well. But I thought the Lady Vols missed too many of them tonight. You're always going to miss some, but I thought it was almost a little too many tonight. And that come back on them. I didn't get what they were doing in the last minute. There was too much dribbling. You're down 9 points. I thought at one point Spear passed up a 3. I thought she had it. I mean, now there is a chance she would have been blocked on it. So I get why she didn't take it. She passed it, and then they just dribbled the ball right. There was too much dribbling. I counted, and some of you guys can correct me on this, I'm thinking I counted they wasted 20 seconds or so just dribbling the ball around the last minute. It's like, you have to go. You have to shoot the ball here. And especially Cooper and Whitehorn, it felt like they were just dribbling. I know what they were trying to get in to get a drive, but, man, you needed shots at that point. And I thought there were numerous times tonight that our on-court awareness needed to be better. Was at the end of the third quarter, had to let Whitehorn broke loose. Spearman, looked to me, was out in front of the pack. Whitehorn elected to take it, did not get the shot off the buzzer. That can't happen. That cannot happen. You've got to make that pass on that. Again, the dribbling around with the minute, there was too much time coming off the clock because you still had 2 fouls to give. And then, if you did hit a three, you get to the bonus, you had a shot. But they needed threes. And they're dribbling around trying to get the layup. I get it. They're having a little bit of luck in that fourth quarter with it. But at that point, that's when they needed the threes. That's when, these 26 that's been fired earlier on, that's when we needed more of the threes at that point. But it was a tall task tonight. It was going to be a tall task from the beginning. And I thought South Carolina's front court really dominated the game. Funny thing to me, though, if you look at these stats right here, let me share the screen with it. I'm telling you, man, if you looked at this and said, well, I would have thought we were in pretty good shape other than field goal percentage, pretty big discrepancy there, 46% to 31. 3-point, I mean, South Carolina, they average about 6 threes per game. They're normally a little over 30%, so we held them a little bit. They were pretty close on that. Of course, South Carolina was only 6 out of 12 from the free throw line. So, I mean, I would think they normally shoot a much higher percentage than that. I think I saw coming in, they shoot 76%. So it was definitely an off night for them at the free throw line. Lady Vols did get to the free throw line 18 times tonight. I mean, they forced 17 turnovers. Points off turnovers were even. I mean, for the game, the Lady Vols out-rebounded South Carolina 49-40 on this. Second chance points, 11-10. Bench points was a difference, but I think I'm not going to really compare the two because South Carolina's second unit, I mean, what was the stat they had? They're the only team in the country that their second unit outscores their first. So it's, I don't really think that's a negative against the Lady Vols. I think South Carolina's second unit is just that good. Points in the paint, 38-38. Fast break points, South Carolina got them a little bit, 23-17. Blocks, I honestly felt like South Carolina had a lot more blocks than that, 6-4. Lady Vols had 10 steals to 8. Assists, 14-8 in favor of South Carolina. So, I mean, really, if you look down through here at these stats, South Carolina, I mean, they shot better, but as far as the rest of their stats, there was nothing that really stands out. Fast break points, I felt like maybe that's the one because I felt like South Carolina was having a lot of success getting into the paint. And that was, at times it was too easy. And at times it looked to me like some of our girls were not switching. They were kind of staying man-to-man at that point. But overall, it's just a tall task. And you can't shoot. You're not going to beat them shooting 3 out of 26. I mean, again, it's another one where they made it a little bit of a game in that fourth quarter. But I would say for the most part, after the 9-point lead, South Carolina pretty much dominated that game, even though the stats don't show it, surprisingly enough. I felt like they were still, I mean, they got up to close to a 20-point lead at one point. The Lady Vols have got to figure out what's happening in these second and third quarters. And I don't know if it's a case of teams are adjusting to them at that point in time. But, what's happening that fourth quarter? Is it because there's more lack of urgency from the Lady Vols in these games they've lost where they've really had to go hard in the fourth quarter? I can't really put my finger on it other than teams are adjusting to them. I mean, these teams they've lost to, I mean, outside of Vanderbilt, which, Vanderbilt's not a bad team at all. But, LSU, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Texas, I mean, those are really good teams on it. They've got really good coaching staffs. So they're going to adjust. It's going to take time. It's down to, they get LSU on the road. That's going to be a tall task. Get UConn at home. So my prediction of getting one of them is starting to not look too good at this point, but we'll see. We'll see where it is. Maybe they can put together a game at one point because getting outscored 425 in those middle quarters, that's a hard one to overcome. That's a hard one to overcome. Even though the fourth quarter was really good, it was too much to overcome. Lady Vols were led tonight. Whitehorn with 12, Cooper 11. Those two combined, those shot 9 out of 33. That's Whitehorn 0-1 from 3-point. Cooper 1 out of 7 on it. Cooper had 8 rebounds to go along with it. Spearman 6 points, 9 boards. Spencer 8. She was 2 out of 12, 1 out of 6. I mean, Spear, that was a big one tonight. She only had 5 points, 2 out of 7, 1 out of 5 from 3-point. I thought Hollingshed did some good things. I thought Boyd did some good things tonight as well. I thought they provided some spark on the team. But, again, you play a team as good as South Carolina, you shoot 12% from 3-point range, you're not going to beat them. You're just not. And 31% field goals, that's a bit lower than it needs to be also. But, we'll see where they go from here. It's you're into this was always going to be the task when they get to the SEC schedule. So they don't play again until Sunday. They play Missouri, 3 o'clock on Sunday. That is at Missouri. And then next Thursday, the 6th, UConn comes to Knoxville, showing 6:30 on that one. Then they go to LSU on Sunday. So it's a rough – I think Sunday's a winnable game at Missouri. Next week's going to be a tall task for sure with UConn coming to town, then going to Baton Rouge. So, we'll see how it goes from there. Coming down the stretch, getting into the last month before you get to the conference tournament up here in Greenville, and then NCAA tournament at that point too. So we'll wrap up on that one. If there's anything I've forgot or left out, please leave me a comment on this as well. Make sure you hit that like, that share, that subscribe. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciate the support along the way here as well. But you guys have a great rest of your evening. Even in defeat, it's always a great day to wear the orange.